Hi there, and welcome to the Astral Tourist. In this channel, we journey beyond the physical world and explore the mysterious realms of the astral plane, where dreams, consciousness, and otherworldly experiences collide. Whether it's lucid dreaming, astral projection, or encounters with beings from distant dimensions, this is your gateway to mind expanding adventures. Get ready to explore the unknown, awaken your senses, and join me on fascinating journeys through the multiverse. This is an astral projection experience from November 2023. I'm going to switch over to the original audio for it now. I did not want to re record the whole thing to save time and also because it kind of, I want the original energy of the experience to come through for you. And I do sound a little bit tired in that one because I was tired. I had been astral projecting quite a bit that month, I remember. So here we go. On duty at the Estorian Astral Way-Station. I'm calling it the Estorian Astral Way-Station. There was a large mansion-sized house on another planet. It was more of an interdimensional astral way station. I was resting in the mansion when I heard a loud, high-pitched sound in my mind, and it sounded more like a signal. And so I was only partially lucid at that point, but this signal really woke me up, or was beginning to at least. And I knew immediately that it meant there was a kind of astral energy storm coming, a particle storm of some kind. I got super lucid really fast, even more so than I was before. I realized I'd been there before. This is somewhere I've been. It felt familiar. I knew what I was supposed to be doing. And my responsibility in this location was astral security. So, as many of you know, I trade in the astral energy, favors, help getting from A to B with the astral idents. And I get help back, just like in real life. You help somebody out, they'll help you out later. So I was on the bottom floor. I quickly unsealed the psychic locks, and I opened a few doors and windows, but only about 1/4 inch wide. Brownish sand-colored particles that felt like static came wafting in really slowly. I kept my attention and awareness on them. It wasn't a good situation, really, but the electromagnetic static seepage was minimal considering what it could have been with the storm outside. And a few people started coming in, which was the idea, to let them in, but not too many of those particles. I saw them mostly as shapes and forms without colors at first. They felt familiar, and I could tell that they were familiar with the location, so all was good. A lot of them were drifting upstairs. There were stairs. Others wandered around the lower level where I was at. And I knew intrinsically and inherently that it was super important that these beings stay out of the storm and remain as dry as possible. That's what was important to them, was to be very, very dry. And also by the doors, there were these special buckets with different colored particles that looked like sand, like they looked like colored sands. And it was to neutralize the storm static charge for them. So when they looked really tired or like they had a hard time coming in the door, I'd toss some of those particles on them to help them get more stabilized. One man in particular was new to the area. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to put any of the particles on him or not, so I just directed him to a central area with a very dry wicker chairs And some were wooden chairs, actually, like it was a combination of wicker and wooden chairs to choose from with no cushions or anything. He asked for a bed. He wanted to go upstairs and go to bed. But I told him that it was really important to the others in the area to make sure that he was fully dry first. And so he agreed to wait in one of the chairs. And he just kind of hovered there. He wasn't like fully sitting down or anything. He was light in the area, so he was hovering. And there were little tables around. He seemed quite content after a few minutes, actually. He was just resting, like yoga style. And he did look like he was going into a type of meditation without fully zoning out. So I thought that was a good thing for him to be doing. And I wondered what kind of a being he was. I mean, he seemed humanoid, but I wasn't sure. And then a small crowd of beings came in with mostly purple and blue colors, and these were not humanoid. I don't know what they were, even though I'm familiar with them in the area and everything. But I mainly was seeing purple and blue. One set up a makeshift help desk, and then I began to see her as more of a humanoid-looking person with like brown hair tied back in a ponytail. And she's getting behind this desk, which looked very metallic. Another one appeared as a human female after a little while and looked like about 7 feet tall. So remember, our minds interpret in the astral, so I don't know if she really was a 7-foot tall being or if that's just how my mind ended up translating her. So she asked me if her guest had arrived and gotten dry. I knew immediately who she meant. She was talking about that man that had wanted to go to bed. So I told her that he had requested a bedroom, but I let him know it was important to dry off first before interaction. And at this point, he'd been there about 20 to 30 minutes. She felt that was long enough for him to be safely dry for her to interact with without there being any kind of a problem. So she went over to greet him, and she turned to face me at a certain point. I saw an outline of a face and shiny purple lips. I took notes, and I'm really happy I did because I'd forgotten all about her purple lips. And so I'm not sure what the significance was other than she was just, expressing gratitude. And I thought, well, the color purple is really cool. We have purple in common. I telepathed that I was smiling back at her too, and I sent her like a happy vibe. She thanked me for taking care of the locks and seals, especially during storm conditions. She was going to take over now if I wanted to go do something else. So I looked back over at the help desk line. I thought it would be a good time to get in line and maybe ask more questions about the place before I woke up. And before I could go over there, a tall woman in line, this is a whole different one, with stacked white hair. She looked semi-humanoid. There was something about her face that was very different, but I can't remember what it was anymore. But she also had that stacked white hair look, and she telepathed over to me. Estorians are notoriously difficult to communicate with. They mainly make high-pitched sounds and colors. And then she wanted to know how a human like me could understand them, like at all. So I tried not to take offense at that, I was like, oh. And I told her that I've been astral projecting my whole human life. And I have an ear for musical sounds. And I went into more detail about how I hear louder, high-pitched music better in the astral than any other sounds anyway, which is true. I have difficulty hearing in the astral, but I can hear the higher pitched tones much better for some reason. So she kept smiling and listening to my explanation, and we even got a little bit deeper. into musical sounds and how they express themselves in the astral. It's almost like a philosophical conversation at one point, and I've lost track of those details. And then I woke up. So that was that experience. I have a few more to record and share. So happy astral travels, everybody.